You know, I've been doing these couple of these older ones about bring back the magic. I think the latest one was like +1 sword, bring back the magic, the first level, bring back the magic of a cure wounds. And this one is just, I did another narrative secret about how I love to use the environment, but this one's just bring back the magic of the environment. Don't forget that the environment is your third player character. So you got combat, you got your social interaction, and then you have what D&D 5th calls exploration. So yeah, we've got tunnels, dungeon crawls, ancient keeps, all that kind of stuff, but there's something about the environment. Bring in rain, humidity, heat, drought, tumbleweed, snow, high winds, sleet and hail. Bring all those elements into the game. And I don't mean just weather, the environment. Don't just have woods, but it's just all flat. A wooded area with, steep hills and trees, cliff sides, oceans, rivers, swamps, and utilize all those elements in the game as they have to traverse these areas. When you take an old keep and an old castle, have cold winds blow through the openings. Have a keep in the swamp and it just smells, and you could just see all the growth and the fungus growing over the walls of this old keep. Or have the keep on a cliffside where they can smell the ocean water and the salted water, and maybe some of the rooms have the wooden floors are buckled because of the invading ocean breezes or something, where they can smell like the Dead Sea life that washes up against the shore. Bring all those elements of the environment. And without going into too much detail, have the environment impact the characters. Have them get cold. Have them exposed to the elements. Have them suffer from heat exhaustion and all those things if they don't take care of themselves. Use, bright sunlight. There was a great samurai that Miyamoto Musashi, who used to delay fights with people for hours. And then what would he do? He would turn so the sunlight would be behind him, so his shadow would cast across his enemies' faces, and then at the last minute would duck aside so that his shadow would move away from their eye line, and the bright sun would blind them momentarily while he struck them down. It's a dirty trick, but yeah, very effective. Using the sunlight to glint off of a blade to send a message or to blind someone. Using the environment is yet another character, and please don't forget that. So I'm not going to go into too much detail. I've already done a video on how I use the environment. I love my D4s and D6s, and you're suffering from heat exhaustion for 1d4 rounds, and it only it gives you a -2 for 1d4 for a minus 1d4 for 1d4 rounds until you're able to solve something or whatever. That's just an example. It's a vague one. It's a really bad one, but I'm not going to go into too much detail. But I love the environment. I love the weather. I love describing castles where a wall, you can tell a war has happened, and you have to climb over the thick brick and stone that was used to build the keep. I love describing the vines that have overgrown the old keep, and you can tell that goblinoids have passed through here. I love describing, burnout. The keep has been burnt out from the evil that has been inside of this castle. The goblinoids have brought innocent victims here and slaughtered them. They eat their hearts and sacrifice their bodies to a dark god as they're gnawing on the bones of the villagers or something like that. If you're going to do that, throw something into the environment. Okay, let's take the goblinoid thing, for example. They're going to have to, after they eat, they're going to have to crap somewhere. So there's probably going to be some section off to the side that just smells terrible, where all their feces and urine is at. There might be piles of bones. Where are all the dead bodies and the hacked up carcasses? There's going to be probably a big giant fire that just smells of burnt human flesh. You know, they're going to be scavengers, rats and nasty things that are going to come and scavenge off of the dead bodies or something. There might even be a pit where they throw things in, you know, body parts into it. Maybe a gray ooze or a black pudding or something, or let's see if I can pronounce it correctly. Odiog? Whatever. The thing that the tri-limbed, two-tentacled, mouth on the top creature that eats feces that lives in the sewer. You guys know what I'm talking about. Anyway, use the environment. The environment can spark ideas for other things around. Same thing with the goblinoids. Maybe there's vultures or something that circle in the air and fly overhead. And all of these things, disease starts to spread. All of these things lead one to another, so that instead of just using orcs, now you have the idea that they're using orcs and gray ooze and otiog, and I know I'm butchering that name, vultures and scavengers and giant rats and all those kind of things to allow your environment to grow. So just think just practically. You know, if it's been raining a lot, man, there's flooding. Flooding means you know, flooding means water. Water means it'll flow into low-lying areas. That means that sewer systems get flooded. That means that maybe the food that's held in the basement of the keep is now soaked, and now it starts to grow mold, and people are walking in waist-high water because of the flood waters, and now the river has overrun its borders and its barriers. So now nasty things are floating down the streets, and people are sitting on top of their rooftops, and blah blah blah. Anyway, rambling on. Brain is running 1,000 miles a minute right now, because I'm actually coming up with an adventure as I'm talking to you guys. Anyway, long story short is that use the environment. Maybe I'm going to have to do a video series where I just give away all these adventure seeds or something. Maybe I'll do that. Anyways, DBJ, and as always, be creative and don't destroy. Please use the environment.